Okay, so today we are going to cover how Route 53 will work in AWS. Yesterday we have worked on what is DNS, how can we how DNS is resolved, how the IP addresses are converted in DNS. Today we are going to cover about Route 53. Okay, once your request is landed on Route 53, after you purchase the domain name, it can be from Amazon, it can be from any other uh, domain registrar. Your request will land on Route 53. Your Whenever you hit the URL, any URL, okay, then it will hit on Route 53 if you have purchased indicated with AWS, right? So assume that you have purchased a URL and you have integrated with Route 53. Now after Route 53, where you have to send the URL, when you have to send the request. Okay, how can we send the request? There, how Route 53 handle multiple requests and how it distribute the request. All this thing we are going to cover today. So in Route 53, we have couple of routing policies, starting with simple routing policy, weighted routing policy, latency based failover, geolocation, geoproxy, and multi-value. First one is simple routing. Yes. First one is simple routing. What is simple routing? If you choose the simple routing, you can have only one record with the multiple IP address. Before that, before going into the theory, let's log in into console. Okay. Am I audible, guys? Did you able to hear something which I said previously, or it was I was on mute? Okay, let me repeat. So yesterday we started with Route 53. We learn about the domain, what is domain, how domain are resolved, how domain are converted into IP address, right? We have covered that. Then I have told you that if you want to integrate integrate DNS with AWS, you have to configure that in Route 53. Okay, in Route 53 is manage. Route 53 is a service which manages the DNS for you. It's a service which is helping you to manage the services, DNS services. Okay. Now you can purchase the DNS from Amazon or from other domain registrar, just like GoDaddy.com or Google.com, and you have to route that thing in AWS if you want to integrate your DNS with AWS. If you are working on AWS, you want to integrate your DNS with AWS. In that scenario, you have to integrate your DNS with Route 53. Okay, if you are purchasing domain from Amazon, it will directly integrate. If you are purchasing from outside AWS, then you have to integrate that domain with your AWS Route 53. Okay, so let's go into AWS and see how it will look like. So I have purchased a domain from GoDaddy.com. Okay, now let's go to Route 53. This is your route 3. Okay, 3 health checkups. Okay. So this is your Route 53 dashboard. If you want to purchase the domain, you can see the domains here. Register a domain. Inside your Route 53 console, you can go and purchase a domain. Okay, you can check right now if you want to check. Something like this. Okay, if I'm typing cloudlearning.com, it is saying it's not available, but these are the other recommendation. Okay, if I change the top level domain name .in, still it's not available. Okay, Amazon doesn't support this one. Okay, so you can try with different combination, and you can search with Amazon here. Now if you see here, for 1 year it is $13. For 1 year it's a $13. It's a charge which you have to pay for a domain. If you purchase a domain, you have to pay some charges. So you can see there are a couple of options available. Cloudteaching.net, .tv, .ninja, something like this. You can select according to your budget and your requirement. Okay, same thing goes with uh, different domain provider, just like godaddy.com. There you might find some discounts. If you are registering Amazon AWS with, sorry, if you are registering your domain with other domain register, you have to register with AWS as well. Right now, so if you purchase a domain from Amazon or from third party, you have to come here and register your URL. So if you have purchased from Amazon, it will automatically will be displaying your domain name here. Okay, if you are purchasing a domain from Amazon, it your domain name will automatically will displayed here. But if you are purchasing from third party, just like Google, godaddy.com or google.com, then you have to create a hosted zone, just like here I have created. If you create this hosted zone, it will give you the NS records. This is the NS record. Okay, now this NS record you have to integrate with your godaddy.com. So you have to copy this thing and go to the third party website like godaddy.com and integrate this thing, so that if anything lands on godaddy.com, whenever somebody hits Parag Cloud Learning, right, where it will land first, where it will go. If somebody is hitting for getting the IP address, where it will go, which register it will hit, it will hit godaddy.com. Now ideally you should integrate your server with godaddy.com if it's on premise or somewhere, but we want our website to reroute to cloud 53, route 53. So that's why we have to copy paste this NS servers. You can see if you read it, it has AWS DNS in between. That means from godaddy.com it will come to route 53 if we paste this thing in our godaddy.com settings. Okay, so let me show you if it's available meanwhile. Second thing, if you want, if you from here, this is the optional practice. Okay, because you have to purchase the domain. To practice this thing, you have to purchase the domain. If you want to purchase a domain and you want to practice, you can do that. If not, you can skip the practical. You can skip the lab for this. You can just watch what I'm doing, how I'm doing, and just understand the theory part. Okay, because to do this thing, you need to have a domain available with you. Okay, yes, I will show you. Now you can see this is the domain which I have purchased from godaddy.com. Okay, and here I have integrated all these name servers. So if anybody is hitting Parag Cloud Learning, okay, it will come to godaddy.com for the IP address, and godaddy.com will reroute it to Amazon Route 53 using this NS server, because everything we are integrating on is on AWS, right? So second, if you are creating any hosted zone, Amazon will charge you $0.5 per month. Okay, I will show you. आप कोई भी अगर डोमेन होस्ट जोन बना रहे हो, Amazon will charge you $0.5 per month. You can see for maintaining a hosted zone. So when you create a hosted zone, whenever you create a hosted zone, you will get charged for $0.5, and it will be per month basis. Second thing, after creating your hosted zone, here you will see your two records. One is NS server and other is SOA. We have learned about SOA, so it will have some information about your website like TTL settings and routing policy. Some okay. The person who is more into networking will able to understand it, but if you want, it's a simple policies we are going to create. Now this is a detail just for your hosted zone. Now imagine, so I will draw a simple diagram. So let's say somebody is hitting your website. Somebody is hitting your website, okay, and that website will go to your registrar. Who is your registrar right now? GoDaddy.com. Agree? Now, okay, there will be intermediate other servers as well. I'm not showing that. From here, ideally you should integrate with your server, main server directly. But I don't want to do that. I want to reroute it to Amazon because I'm working on Amazon. So in that case, you have to reroute everything to Route 53. Now in Route 53, we will integrate. We will uh, give the path where we want to reroute the request. So now everything is on Amazon. Everything is coming on Amazon Route 53. Clear? So imagine if somebody is hitting your website, everything is coming to Route 53 hosted zone directly. From here, it's my choice how I want to route according to routing policy. Okay. Now I'm going to create EC2 machine. I'm going to create EC2 machine into 3 region. Okay. I'm going to create 3 EC2 machine in 3 region. So I'm in Virginia. You can see right now. Okay. So I'm creating one EC2 machine in Virginia. Virginia, you can give any name. You can select the OS, T2 micro, key value pair. If you are creating it first time, you should have some key value pair. Okay. If you want, you can go without key value pair as well. We are not going to log in into this system, but you can create a key value pair. Even security group, if you are creating the AWS the EC2 machine first time, then you might have to create your security group. All the information in the security group will be same. The port 22, HTTP, HTTPS, SSH, same. Here we require HTTP and HTTPS as of now. Okay. Uh, Storage default. Here in the bootstrap script, I am going to pass how to host the website, the script to host the website. So I will go to EC2 and I will open my bootstrap script. Okay. You can see here it is my bootstrap script. Well, hi guys, welcome to my Virginia website. So this is in your EC2 section. You can copy this script from there. Okay, all good. Now just launch. So I have created one EC2 machine in Virginia. Same thing I'm going to do in Mumbai and other in Singapore, Sydney. So I'm creating three EC2 machine. So in Virginia, we created one EC2 machine. In Mumbai, it's creating. In Sydney. So in Sydney, I don't have any key value pair, so I'm going without key value pair. There is option, but you have to create a security group. If you are creating your EC2 machine very first time in any of the region. Okay. Now let's see. So in Virginia, my system is up and running. So let's me open a notepad. Okay, and copy paste the public URL. Mumbai. Sydney. So I have created three EC2 machine in different region. Now in all these three region, my website is hosted. Let's open it. Virginia, Mumbai, and so you can see Mumbai and Sydney. All three are up and working. So I have three website. Okay, I have hosted three website in three different servers. Okay, it can be same website, it can be multiple different website, but you can see I have hosted a website in 3 different servers. Okay, 3 different servers. One is in Virginia, other is in Mumbai, other third is in Sydney. Okay, and I have noted the IP addresses. Let's go to Route 53 now. Inside Route 53, you have multiple policies. What policies? First is if anything lands on Route 53. Now here we have three servers. How you want to send the traffic to all these three servers? First is simple routing. I will integrate all these three servers, all three EC2 machine to Route 53, and Route 53 will send the traffic, send the request to one of this EC2 machine randomly. So how it will do that? So first is simple routing. Okay, it will going to send the traffic to each machine using simple routing. What is simple routing? It is simply we will paste all the IP address, we will provide all the IP address, and Amazon Route 53 will randomly select any of the endpoint and it will send the traffic to that EC2 machine. So Route 53 can send traffic to EC2 machine, even your on-premise server. It can send traffic to S3 bucket website hosting, and we are going to see that. Okay, it can send to IP address, it can send to your other services as well. If you choose simple routing policy, you can only have one record with multiple IP addresses. If you specify multiple value in a record, Route 53 return all the values to the user in random order. Okay, it's a very simple way. Let's create a record here. You have to create a record. You can see record. So just paste all three values here. All three values here. IP address as well as third one Sydney. Okay, all three IP addresses. TTL reduced to 3 seconds, and you can see here it's option of simple routing. So I'm creating a record. Record is basically creating a routing policy. Create. That's it. Now you can see. Okay, let me just show you one more thing before. Let me show one more thing before creating the record. If I copy paste this URL, what will happen as of now? You can see I'm getting an error. Why? I have integrated everything. I have integrated the routing to Route 53. So my request is landing to Route 53. But I didn't configure what to do after landing to Route 53. मेरा पूरा जो रिक्वेस्ट है वो Route 53 पे आ रहा है, यहाँ पे आ रहा है. इसके बाद कहाँ जाना चाहिए वो मैंने डाला ही नहीं है. That's why I'm getting an error. Okay? So sometime if you in a real world also if you're getting this error means आपके कहीं routing में problem है. कहीं तो connection break हो रहा है. So let's create a record. It will be a record. So basically a record is used to resolve the IP addresses in general. Okay, TTL I'm going with 3 seconds. Create. Okay, I have created a simple A record with 3 values. Now if you just have to refresh it couple of times, it will take couple of seconds to integrate. Let's wait for a couple of seconds. So now, basically, what I did, I integrated my URL with one of this EC2 machine. One of this EC2 machine I have integrated. It is taking so much time. ऐसा होना नहीं चाहिए. Simple routing alias. Yep, that's it. Okay. HTTP. अब तक हो जाना चाहिए था. This is working fine. Why this is not working? HTTP. Okay, something is not working. Just give me 1 minute. Something is not working somehow. Okay. It's working. Mhm. Oh, it's not working somehow. फिर तो हो जाना चाहिए था इंटीग्रेट. Wow. Finally चला. Okay. So I have integrated with S3. It's working now. Let me change it to. Okay. So you can see right now it's working with S3. Can you hear me? Okay. So it is integrated with S3. Let me check. Go delete with S3. I will show you S3 in some time. But let me work on the other one. Simple routing. 3 seconds. Okay. Because of TTL, I think it is creating some problem. Yes. Okay. So because of TTL, it is might be creating some problem. So now you can see I have entered the parag.co.in in browser. Now it will randomly select one of the IP address. I have integrated all the IP address with Route53. So what will happen? One IP address, two IP address, three IP address. So you can enter n number of IP address and Route53 will send the request to randomly any one of the IP address. So if you go to incognito and paste the URL, okay, because of the cache there might be some, it might point to same URL. So you can see Mumbai. Okay, after a couple of seconds it will hit to different IP address. Okay, let me open in different browser. You can see Virginia. Okay, so out of this three IP address, Amazon Route 53 will send the request to any of the endpoint. That is simple routing. Okay, it will send the request to simply any of the endpoint randomly. Now second routing, weighted routing. Weighted routing means if you want to send a request to according to your weightage. Let's say this machine is huge. This machine is able to handle more requests as compared to this machine. Okay, in this scenario you can create a segregation on the basis of percentage. How much percentage of traffic should I send to this machine? Let's say you are getting 10 requests. So out of 10 requests, 8 requests will land to this particular machine. You can create a weightage. That's a point number one. Second, let's go to the console and see. Yes. So I'm deleting the simple routing and I'm creating a new route a record, and you can select from here simple weighted routing. Now if you click on weighted routing, you will observe that couple of more options are populated. In one of this option is called health checkup. Now you can integrate a health checkup with Route 53. That means Route 53 will continuously do a health checkup of your endpoint. It will continuously do a health checkup of your endpoint, and if it finds that your health checkup fails or your endpoint is failed, Route 53 will not send traffic to that particular EC2 machine or that endpoint, because you don't want your customer to be your customer request to land to a unhealthy machine. Okay, so you can integrate health checkup. You can go to the route here. You can see health checkups here. Create a health checkup. You can give any name, Virginia endpoint, and just paste the IP address. That's it. Don't have to do anything. Just next, next, done. Virginia. Now create for Mumbai. So you have to create a health checkups first, and health checkup will be monitored by CloudWatch. Next and next. Third, if you want to do an advanced health checkup, you can do that, but it might be chargeable. You can just avoid that. There are other settings as well for health checkup. Now this health checkup will be doing a health interval of 1 minute, I think, every 30 seconds. Okay, so it will do the health checkup for you, and after this status is changed to healthy, Amazon will start sending the request to this particular instance. You can see it is in healthy state. So let's go to our hosted zone. Let's go to our domain and create a record for version. In this case, we have to integrate individual IP address because we are integrating health checkup. In simple routing, we can integrate all together, but here we have to integrate one by one. Weighted routing, how much I have to send to Virginia? Let's say I want to send 20% to Virginia. Health checkup, you can integrate health checkup and give name Virginia. I'm adding another record, that is Mumbai. You can do in the console itself, here itself. Mumbai 30% weighted routed. How much I want to send to Mumbai? 70% Mumbai. Give name Mumbai. I'm adding one more A record here for Sydney. 10% I want to send the traffic to Sydney. Select the Sydney and give name Sydney. Now you can create. So you can see I have created 3 A records. Now as my major traffic is sent to Mumbai, if I go to any of the website, again refresh it. Okay, go to incognito and refresh it. So it's Mumbai. Here it is showing Mumbai. Again Mumbai. Here because of local cache, you might see that it is not changing. So just open private window, cognito, and paste. You can see my traffic is hitting to Mumbai. That means my major traffic will go to Mumbai. Out of this, randomly, if I'm hitting 10 times, any 2 times will go to Virginia and 1 time with Sydney. So that is a weighted routing. I have defined the weight, that how much weight I want to send to different servers. Allow you to split your traffic on the basis of weight assignment. For example, you can set 10% of traffic to go to US East 1 and 90% of traffic to AP South 1. So it's your choice that what percentage of traffic do you want to send to which server. Next, latency based routing. Now latency based routing is very important to understand latency based routing as well as geolocation. These are two type of routing which people get confused. Okay, so first let's go understand latency based routing. Okay, for that I have one PPT. I will show you another PPT. Okay, now what is latency based routing? Quickly. So let's say right now we have 3 servers. One is in Virginia, one is in Mumbai, another is in Sydney. Right? We have 3 servers. Now let's say a user is here. Here. A user is somewhere here who is trying to access your website. Right? Now out of all these 3 servers, which website is near to the user? Which website is near to the user? This website, this server. Out of these 3 servers, which server is near to the user? This one, right? By the distance, this server is near to the user. So the geolocation. Okay. Now I will go with the geolocation after some time. But let's say here you have one server, you have another server here, and you have third server here. You have one user somewhere located. One user is here. right? If that user is trying to hit this website, this server, it take 2 seconds. If this user is connecting to this server, it is taking 4 seconds. And if this user is connecting to this server, it is taking 6 seconds. So out of this all three, which one is preferred? Where you will route the request for the user? Virginia or Sydney? Latency means it is taking 2 seconds to reach. उसको 2 milliseconds लग रहे हैं उस सर्वर को हिट करने में, रिक्वेस्ट को. Here it is taking 4 millisecond latency, and it is taking 6 millisecond latency in this case. All three servers are same, right? So where do you will prefer to send the signal or request? Virginia? Agree? In this case, where you will get the lowest latency? In Virginia? That makes sense to you? Now, let's take example. Due to network congestion, due to there was an issue in the internet, and here instead of 2 seconds, now it is taking 12 seconds. Though the user is very near to the server, but it is taking 12 milliseconds to reach the request to the server. It is taking latency of 12 milliseconds. Now, in this scenario, where should Route 53 route the request? Still in Virginia, or it should send the request to Mumbai? Tell me. In this scenario, which server has less latency? Mumbai, right? So, even though the user is near to the Virginia, but because of the network congestion or because of traffic in the internet, the latency between Virginia and the user is high as compared to Mumbai, and the latency between user and Mumbai server. So the Route 53 will send this request to Mumbai server if you select latency based routing. If you select latency based routing, okay. So the request will land to the server where the latency between the user and the server is less. Even though it might be far, it might be near, it doesn't matter. Distance doesn't matter, the latency matters. Latency means the amount of time taken to hit a server. So allow you to route your traffic base on the lowest network latency of your user end. Which region will give them the fastest response? To use latency based routing, you create a latency resource set for Amazon EC2 machine in each region that hosts the website. Okay, so let's go and create a hosted zone a record for latency base. Delete the previous one. Now create one. So same thing which we have done previously. Create 3 records, but instead of weighted routing, I'm selecting latency. Region, in which region this was, is Virginia. Health checkup Virginia and give a name Virginia. I have created one policy for Virginia. Let's create a same latency based routing for Mumbai. Okay. Now I have created latency based routing. Now, right now I'm in India, right? So any request coming, all the requests will go to Mumbai. All the requests will go to Mumbai server. Why? Because ideally the latency between me and Mumbai server will be low, right? Now why I'm getting this error? Because I have done the changes and it might take couple of seconds to minutes to propagate the changes over the internet. That's why I'm getting this error. Okay, let's wait a couple of seconds. Now why I'm getting this errors again and again? Because of cache. And if you do any changes in Route 53, so I told you yesterday, if you're doing any changes, it might take couple of minutes to hours to implement the changes end to end. Nice. Come on. Let me check if I am behind the VPN or not. Hmm. Now it is taking too much time. So I hope you are able to understand how it's working. It take time, couple of minutes sometime. That's what happened in the morning. Everything's working fine. Your EC2 machines are working. Yes, all are working fine. So it will take some time for the website to up and running. You can see right now it's pointing to previous one. Okay. Now I hope you got the idea. Latency based routing. It will be route my request to the server which has low latency or which give me fast response. In our case, it will be Mumbai because we are near to Mumbai. Okay. Similarly, we have one more. Okay. When Amazon Route 50 receive a query for you from your request site, it will select the latency resource record set. For the given region, for the region that gives the user the lowest latency, Route 53 will then respond with the value associated with that request. Okay, basically it will give you the response to the lowest latency. Then second is geolocation. Geolocation basically means according to your location, okay, according to the user location, I can reroute the request to a particular server. Basically, this is my Indian customer. Okay, I know that my request is coming from India. That means Indian customer. So I can create one EC2 machine irrespective of the region, irrespective where I'm creating the machine. I'm creating a machine which are dedicatedly designed for Indian customer. Okay, I am rerouting the request to the machines dedicatedly designed for Indian customer, and in this servers, everything will be in local language. In India, there are local languages available. Let's say you are right now designing a website where you are giving the price of an item. You're listing a price of items. So every currency should be in INR instead of dollar, because your customer's request is coming from India. If your customer request is coming from US, then the currency should be in dollar, right? So that should be a different EC2 machine to handle the US customer traffic. And if coming from Europe, then there should be another machine which is dedicatedly designed for European customers. In this case, the language can be the content can be in local language. You can give the offer according to the region. So that is geolocation routing. Geolocation routing let you choose where your traffic will send on the basis of geographical location of your user. That is location from where the DNS queries are originated. For example, you might want all the queries from India to be routed to a fleet of EC2 machine that are specially designed or configured for your Indian customer. These servers may have local language of your Indian customer, and all the prices are in INR. Okay. Now it's working. I didn't change anything. Latency based routing. Okay. Now it will work for all. Latency based routing. Everything will hit to Mumbai. Now that's why I'm keeping TTL very low. Okay. That's why, because of cache, it is might create a problem. This is latency based routing. Let me configure for geolocation routing. So select here geolocation here. TTL is 3 seconds. Okay. Now IP address, all the traffic coming from um, America. Okay, all the traffic coming to America should be go to this IP address. If you want to choose the here and record Virginia. Okay. Now I want all the traffic coming from India to be going to Sydney server. जो भी ट्रैफिक इंडिया से आ रहा है मेरे को सिडनी सर्वर पे भेजना है, मुंबई सर्वर पे नहीं भेज रहा, मैं सिडनी सर्वर पे भेज रहा हूँ. सर्वर विच इज क्रिएटेड इन Sydney. Geolocation and India. So all the requests coming from India will go to my Sydney server. मैं सिडनी सिलेक्ट कर रहा हूँ इंडिया मुंबई की जगह, just to show you how it is working. Okay. The problem is that the cache, you can now see it again has go in the stop state. So all the requests coming from India will go to this server, that is Sydney server. Now it will take couple of seconds to minutes again to bring that server up. So whatever the changes we are doing, it will take couple of seconds to minutes to propagate throughout the internet. That's why we are getting this error. Okay. Meanwhile, let's continue. Now the next part is failover routing. Now this is one of the important one. We have learned failover in our RDS instance, that there will be a active and there will be a passive machine, active passive. So here same thing. You can have two machines, two servers, one is active and other is passive. So when you configure active passive configuration in Route 53, all the requests will go to the active one. All requests will go to active one, and and until unless your active server goes down, there will be no traffic on your passive one. But as soon as your active server goes down, all the requests will go to the your secondary server, your standby servers. That is failover routing. So failover routing are used when you want to create an active passive setup. For example, you might want your primary site to be EU West 2 and your secondary site DR as AP South East 2. So this is your primary site, this is your secondary site. Route 53 will monitor the health of your primary site using the health checkup. तो वो आपके health checkup को monitor करता रहेगा. According to health checkup, it will going to switch your traffic from primary to secondary. The health checkup monitor the health of your endpoint. So what are health checkups in general? So health checkup, you can set health checkup of your individual records. If a record set fail, a health checkup, it will remove from the Route 53 until it passes the health checkup. So Route 53 will not send the traffic out to a unhealthy instance if you have enabled the health checkup. You can set SNS notification to send an alert on your health checkup as well if a health checkup fails. Okay, so let me check if that website is up right now or not. So this is right now we have configured for geolocation. I should reduce the TTL from 3 seconds to 1 second, I think. So you're doing any changes in Route 53, it will take a couple of seconds to minutes depending on the how many servers are coming in picture. So this is latency based routing as of now. I didn't change from latency based routing to failover. I just want to show you that all the requests in your latency base will go to Sydney. You can check it out at your end as well if it's working. Problem with Route 53 is that it will take couple of minutes to seconds to minutes to change the things. But this is the first time I'm facing this issue that it is taking so much time. Initially, it used to take maximum 1 to 2 minutes, not more than that. Generally, it takes 1 to 2 minutes to just refresh the changes. Either my local laptop cache has changed. So, mm-hmm. Okay, meanwhile, I don't want to waste more time here. Now, hope you are able to understand the routings. Geolocation. Okay. Majorly, we have covered everything. Now, the this one is multi-value. So, if you want to create multiple values to send to DNS with health checkup, it is similar to simple routing, but you also want a health checkup. Then you can go with a multi-value answer. Okay. So in simple routing, you might, as we seen, there was no health checkup. But if you want to enable health checkup in simple routing, you can go with the multi-value. In multi-value, all the IP address will be returned back to the user, and user can decide, or the user laptop can decide on which IP address to be connected. That's a multi-value answer. So these are different configuration. Now, next is geo-proxy routing. Geo-proxy routing let Amazon Route53 traffic to route basis on geolocation, user and resources. Okay, I will show you how this one is working. Geo-proxy. Okay. Now, if you want to create a complex routing, like till now we are creating only simple routing, geolocation routing, one routing. But I want to create a complex routing which include all these parameters. Okay, I want to send some traffic as a simple, some traffic as a weightage. So I can create a traffic policy. So you can see in the left side there is a traffic policy. You can see the from the graph. So here you can have multiple policies attached. Policy 1, next. Here you can see I can select multiple values. So let's start with simple. Okay, weighted routing. Okay, now I can send traffic 40% traffic to this server and 60% traffic to here. Here I'm selecting failover. Okay, and in the below one, so here I can endpoint. I can select an endpoint, give an IP address. Here I can select an endpoint, and you can give an IP address. So 40% traffic, and here it will send a failover. So everything will go to this server. Here I can create latency based routing. After that, I can create geo proxy routing. Okay. Now geo proxy routing is a new type of routing which helps you to create a bias between the okay. So this is a map, right? Now let's say you select this one. Okay. You select location India. Okay. Now if you select here, and now you can see I have selected two region. Now according to the bias, you can select how much traffic do you want to send to this particular green area. I want to send a very less traffic, or I want to send a more traffic. So you can using this geo proxy settings, you can select. Now you can see the traffic will be sent to this region, as how much traffic is sent to India as compared to other world. So I have created bias. According to the bias, the traffic will be sent to the different areas. So I can select the bias in different areas. And we have a traffic rule. So this, the more complex do you want to create a traffic rule, you can create using traffic policy. Okay, and in the end you have to select, give the endpoint URL, which server you want to send. So this is a traffic policy. So if you want more complexity, you can go with the traffic policy. So let me check if still it's not working. Let it be. Now let me configure the failover. It should work or not. Let's see. So I'm deleting this to one. Okay, and I'm creating failover routing. So failover routing, select the failover routing, and 1 second. Now if you select the primary failover routing, and if you select the primary record, you will see a health checkup is mandatory. Health checkup is mandatory. Till now, health checkups are optional, but when you're selecting active standby or primary and secondary one, in that case, the health checkup is mandatory. Always remember. Oh, I got what I was doing wrong. I was not passing the URL, I think. I'm not sure. Let the secondary one will be Sydney. Secondary one, Sydney. IP address. Okay, everything looks good. So primary is Virginia, secondary is Sydney. Create the records. Now you can see it's a failover. So primary site is Virginia and secondary site is Sydney. So let's check if this is working or not. Still it's not working. Wow. Hmm. Let's give 2 more minutes until unless it's come up. Otherwise, I will show you the other one. Okay. Meanwhile, Route 53, till now we have learned that Route 53 is able to send the traffic to an IP address, right? Route 53 is able to send the traffic to an IP address. The endpoints are generally IP address. But in AWS, we are not going to work always with EC2 machine. There are other services as well. There are other services as well, just like S3 bucket, load balancer, CloudFront. If this is my scenario where I want to send the traffic to different AWS services, can I do that? It is possible. Okay, it is possible with Amazon Route 53. Okay, let me show you how. So let's go to our S3 bucket. Remember we hosted a website in S3. So this is my website. Okay, let me delete this thing. Okay, this is my website. This is my S3 bucket. Let me upload a document website in this bucket. That template, website template. So I'm uploading one template, website template on this bucket, and I will host a website on S3 bucket. We have we have already learned that how we can host a website in S3, right? But the problem is that the URL, we have to use S3 managed URL, the URL which is been provided by Amazon. So now, if I go in the property and open this URL, okay, you can see the website is hosted on S3, but you can see the URL S3 dot website AP South One Amazon.com, something like this. I don't want to use this URL. I want to use my own domain. How can I do that? If this works fine, then only. Okay, anyhow. So I'm removing all this thing. Now, this is my domain in route. Let me do a hard refresh once. Okay, this is my DNS. This is my hosted zone. This is my URL on domain name which I want to host my S3. So go on create record. Now instead of providing IP address, I will click on alias. Alias. Now here you can see all the AWS services which are supported with Route 53. From Route 53, all the requests will go to all this service. So I'm selecting S3. In S3, which region I have created my bucket? In Mumbai. What is the endpoint? This is my website. This is my S3 bucket name. There can be list of S3 bucket, but right now there is only one. Just create. So now all the traffic which will be coming to this URL will be sending to this URL internally, and this website will be hosted. So let's check if that's working. Again, it will take a couple of seconds to minutes just to integrate all the changes over the internet. Now, hope you are able to understand what I'm trying to say. Now, this URL will be used to host the website instead of S3 URL. Okay, that will work. S3 URL will still work, but instead of that, I'm just using my own custom URL. Okay, I'm going to use my custom URL instead of S3 URL. Did you got the point? Yes or no? It is taking too much time today. Hmm. Hope you are able to understand what I'm trying to say. I'm not reverting back the settings. It will take couple of minutes for DNS to integrate that thing. Okay, you can check after some time. But main thing is that Route 53 can integrate with your endpoints as well as your AWS services. So I'm just pasting this URL in the chat. You can access this URL in some time. Okay, you can check with or without HTTP. It should work. Generally it takes couple of minutes, but today I'm not sure why it's taking so much time. Okay. Meanwhile, let me delete all the EC2 machines which we have created. Okay, we don't require them now. As well as let's go and delete the health checkup which we created. Okay. Meanwhile, this let me check it again if this working. Nope, still it's not working. Because of DNS, because of cache over the internet, it takes time. So now, if it goes fine, if you are hitting this URL, this page will open. You don't require S3 URL from now onwards. So I'm leaving this URL as it is. I'm not changing any settings. It should work after a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, if you have any question, you can ask me. You can check at your end if it's working. Okay? Any question?